Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a murder. Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's finally here, the much anticipated Rian Johnson movie, Knives Out. What I like, what I dislike. Let's get into it, shall we? So I mentioned before, Knives Out is brought to us by writer-director Rian Johnson, who brought us Brick and Looper. So he's actually got a pretty good, level of movies about him. Although, of course, it's Rian Johnson, so you got to mention the controversy if you're going to talk about Rian Johnson, and that's, of course, he spells his name with an I. That's just wrong. What are you doing? Of course, yeah, he directed The Last Jedi, one of the most divisive Star Wars movies, although I love it. I think it's great. But, have your own opinion on The Last Jedi. So Knives Out is a play on the murder mystery genre where a rich writer seems to have committed suicide, and it's brought out all his relatives to hopefully collect on his will, but maybe the suicide isn't so cut and dry. Whoa! Really surface level, cut and dry, that is the plot of Knives Out. So let's talk about the characters. So, of course, you can't have a murder mystery without a detective, and we get the detective Benoit Blanc, played by James Bond himself, Daniel Craig. So, Daniel Craig is awesome in this. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, I don't think he's going to be able to pull off the accent, because he's doing a southern drawl this whole movie. Just ladies and gentlemen, we're going to discuss this mystery.
Whereas what you really want is more of a Savannah accent, which is more like molasses just sort of spilling out of your mouth.
And it was really good, and it actually stuck with it really well, and he played a lot with that accent. It was pretty awesome. And overall, he is great in this as well. He's, this sort of stereotypical, cool, confident detective who's just sitting back and letting the mystery play itself out. I just follow the clues, and eventually the truth lands on my doorstep. Also, doing a Savannah accent is very fun. Do try this at home. But he was really good in this. I really enjoyed his character. This is really fun, and he was great. And so there's a huge cast of people in this. There's Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Ricky Lineholm, just a huge lineup. But what the trailer most focused on was Captain America himself, Chris Evans, playing Ransom Drysdale. So he is the grandson of the man who died, and is kind of one of the key suspects, I guess you could say, in this mystery. And it's very interesting. We mostly nowadays see Chris Evans as Captain America, but you forget, like, his early careers, he's kind of known for playing a bit of an asshole all the time. And he went right back into that. It was actually kind of funny to see, like, vintage Chris Evans, where he's, just a dick.
Up your ass.
Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact, eat shit. How's that? Eat shit, eat shit, eat shit.
Smug smile.
Definitely eat shit.
And like this cool, pretty, confident dick. And it's great to kind of see him play that off as well, and kind of see him not be the squeaky clean Steve Rogers, but actually be, something a little different, and I enjoyed that a lot. He was really awesome. Another main character is Ana de Armas, playing Marta, who is the nurse of the guy who died, the writer that died, and so she's got this interesting quirk about her character where she vomits if she lies. And the movie really uses that to a very strong effect. I thought they would overuse it a little too much and she would be this lie detector the whole time, but really it's downplayed quite a bit. But I think they use it really well when they do use it, and it's very awesome. So this actress, I've not seen her in anything. Apparently she was in Blade Runner 2029, which I did not see. But she was really good in this. She's just this kind-hearted, really cared for the writer guy that died, and really he meant a lot to her. And she sees his crazy family buying for all the money that they could get out of his will, and how she's appalled by that, and she cares about her family. She's just this really good heart of the movie, and she's really awesome in this. I really hope she does some more things, but she was fantastic in this movie. And of course, you cannot forget the great, the one, the only, Jamie Lee Curtis, playing Linda Drysdale, Chris Evans' mom in this movie. And she is the least crazy out of this entire family. This family is insane. And she's the most down-to-earth, understanding what's going on person through this. And it's Jamie Lee being her best Jamie Lee. She is always great, and I enjoyed her a lot in this. So I don't want to go over every single character, but those were the main four in this. So yeah. So what did Knives Out do well? So this movie is a love letter to the murder mystery genre. Everything from it being a giant mansion with a big group of people in it to, a will reading. They mention there's, Easter eggs for Clue and for Murder, She Wrote. I think there's also a Pink Panther reference in there somewhere. It's all about, the mystery, and it's really, peak murder mystery, if you really ask me. It's just this giant, great love letter to it, and the mystery in it as well is so freaking good. It really tears you through a loop, and it's really outside of what you would think, because I don't think it's a spoiler because it doesn't happen, but you kind of go into this thinking it's going to be one of those, just like the Clue movie, where it's a group of people and people get picked off one by one sort of thing. But no, there's only one death in this movie, and it's the writer guy. So really, it plays this murder mystery completely different than I thought it was going to go. It goes in a completely different route, and it really just throws you through an entire loop, and it is fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed it. So the other thing I really noticed is just overall acting in this. So everyone's just brought their A game. Michael Shannon, who I've talked about before, always sounds like he's trying to eat his upper lip when he's talking. Is always and then I'm gonna do this, and and I think he's starting to finally get away from doing that a bit. But he was really great in this, kind of this man on the edge, holding on to whatever he had left. Don Johnson, who I haven't heard of since the 80s came around. Don frigging Johnson from Miami Vice, and he was great. Really, just everyone brought their A game. As I mentioned before, Chris Evans being back to his old assholey self. Just vintage, tasty Chris Evans. And that was really good stuff. And I really think this is the masterclass of setup and payoff. Almost everything, and I maybe have to see it again, so maybe I'll find some things that didn't quite, but they set up a bunch of stuff, and every single thing has a payoff. There's no loose plot lines, there's no unused shots, there's no shots that loom on a thing and nothing ever happens. Everything is set up really well, and everything's paid off really well. It's just a super master class of that, where even things you forgot that you see kind of in the beginning, you forget. Then by the time they roll up in the end, you're like, oh yeah, they did say that, and like things like that. It's just a perfect example of just setup and payoff, and it's done just so freaking well. I really, really enjoyed that, and I think that's something Rian Johnson does really well. Because I saw that in a lot of Last Jedi, where they set up some things, quite a lot of things, and they eventually would pay off in the end. And I think they did a lot of that in Knives Out, and it was great. And if you saw the trailer, it does have a comedic edge to it, and this is a very funny movie. The crowd I saw at was just laughing. You can almost even just straight call it a comedy, although it does have some more dramatic moments, but I think overall it would be considered a comedy. And yeah, it is hilarious. The interaction of this insane family is great. Even though there's so many people, you learn just enough about each person to where they can make jokes based off their personality, and you kind of get it and you go with it. It's just really cool stuff like that, and it's just really a really funny movie. But no movie is perfect. Where does Knives Out fall short? Well, honestly, I think the family was a little too over the top, especially during the will reading. There was just some stuff where it's just a little too much. And like this family's just a little too, convoluted, and some of the stuff going on is just a little too much. Honestly, it didn't really bother me out of much of the movie, but if I were to say there was a downside to this, it would just be that. Just everything's just a little too much with this family. And along those lines, the cast is a little big. So some people don't really get a whole lot to do. Like Ricky Reinholm from Garfunkel and Oates is in this. And I don't know if she even gets a line. Like, she is just really barely in this. She exists, and you know what her character is all about and what's going on, but really there's not a whole lot she's doing. And that's kind of the fallout of having such a huge cast for this movie, is I don't think it gave everyone a chance to shine. And that's all I really have to complain about. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about this movie, so let's just jump right into spoilers. So jump to this time code here if you're going to skip spoilers, and let's throw up the spoiler sign here, because I'm going to spoil some major stuff here. Are we ready? Holy shit, the mystery. It was so freaking good. So, like, they spell out to you almost right at the beginning that it was an accidental overdose from the nurse, and the guy actually killed himself. So it actually was a suicide, but was brought on by an accidental overdose from the nurse. And you're like, oh. So initially I'm like, oh, so it's not a mystery. It's more of a how is she going to get away with it kind of thing. Because she didn't mean to, but, she also doesn't want to get arrested for it. So, you're kind of like, well, so it's more how that. But then all of a sudden it flips again where there was a mystery the whole time. And you're finally like, holy shit. And it flips the entire movie on you. And that's where all that payoff comes off, because it shows you so much in everything you could, like, maybe not even really notice. But then once they bring it up, you're like, oh yeah, they did point that out. And oh, it was so good. And then, yeah, Chris Evans being the bad guy was fucking great, especially the final scene where he tries to stab Marta and it's like a fake knife. That was so freaking good. Holy crap, the mystery in this was fantastic. But that's enough spoiling it, so let's go ahead and wrap this movie up. So in the end, this is a hilarious, fun, intense, great love letter to mysteries. To murder mysteries. It's just the peak of murder mystery. It's got, homages to everything that's ever been built around this genre, and it's just a new kick in the pants in it, and it was done so well. I freaking loved it. I really enjoyed it. So obviously, I'm giving it the rating of see it now. Finish this video out, but go freaking see it. It should be out by the time this video's out. But I got to see an early screening because, you know, I'm a big famous reviewer. Not really. I scored tickets a different way. But anyways, go see Knives Out. It's so freaking good. It's definitely making my top 10. I can already tell you that right now. So did you see Knives Out? Let me know what you thought in those comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying some of my reviews, and let me know, give me some feedback on that. And share this video with anyone that's not sure if they want to see Knives Out or not, because I will tell them, go see Knives Out. But I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.